Welcome back. I've been riding my 450 MT for a while now, and I've done tons of modification to the bike. I thought I'd take this time to go through the list of the modification I've done to the bike and also rank them from least useful to most useful. Here is a full list of mods that I'll be covering today. It's a very long list, and it will only grow longer in the future. Some I've already installed, others I haven't, and I'll explain why. For this list, I'll be using 4 tiers system. Starting with C tiers, pretty much useless, avoid those mods. A B tier, useful in certain scenario, only buy if you need it. A tier, great value, definitely get this if budget allows. And S tier, which I personally highly recommend it, and you must have it for every 450 MT. As a disclaimer, this is purely my personal opinion based on how I ride or use the bike. It most likely will be different from how you want to use the bike for. But the purpose of this video is to explain the usefulness of each mod in my opinion, and hopefully help you avoid wasting money like I did. For an adventure bike, comfort is probably the most important things in my book. Otherwise, I'll just ride a dual sport or dirt bike if I want to suffer. Luckily, there are a lot of things you can do to improve the comfort on the 450 MT. First up, the windscreen. The stock windscreen is adjustable, but even at the highest setting, wind still hits my helmet. I tested both 35cm and 40cm extension, and my conclusion is the 40cm suit me the best. It deflects air over my helmet and creates a clean air bubble, quiet and bug-free on the highway. For total rider, a 45cm screen would be better. I wouldn't go anything higher, or it might look odd and get in the way when off-roading. Tall windscreen goes S tier to my list. The stock seat is too low and very thin, making long rides painful. A rally seat would help, but if you are a shorter rider like me and want both feet on the ground, I recommended an inflatable seat cushion. It fit perfectly and only add a few centimeters of the height. I also add a mesh cover for actual airflow during the hot days. Overall, I gave the seat solution an A tier. You have to find the way to increase the comfort on this bike if you are serious about riding long distance. Rally seat or additional padding. Tank grips. They help when standing on rough terrain and release tension on your lower back when riding long distance. I don't use them because I don't want to cover my decals, but sometimes I do regret not having them on. Also, it will improve the look of the bike a little bit, so tank grips goes to A tier. Taller rider might find the riding position cramped. Both handlebar riser and larger or lower full pack can help. I haven't tested them myself, but many riders said they make a big difference. This one goes to B tier, only change if you need it. One more small thing for the comfort mod is the shifter pedal tips. The stock rubber is soft and wear out quickly. I added a metal tip. It costs almost nothing and makes shifting slightly easier. I give it to a B tier. Now you've comfortably arrived to the entrance of the trail and ready for some dirt action. And let's talk about the safety and the protection for the bike. As this bike meant to be taken off-road, one of the most money well spent mod that you can do to this bike will be the upper crush bar. They protect your fairing in the drop, give you something to hold on when moving the bike, and act as a mount for auxiliary light or crush bar bags. You can get them from CFMOTO or AliExpress. They are basically the same design. Buy a good one made from good quality stainless steel for actual strength to avoid things like this happen. This one definitely goes to S tier. In the contract, the lower crush bar, they are, well, in my opinion, completely useless or even dangerous to ride with. Based on my personal experience and others' feedback, this type of bar use only 2 weak mounting points and the bar stick out too much. In the event of fall, it can bend inward and cause more damage to the bike. This goes to all the lower crush bar currently in the market that share the same design. I suffered from it, others had done the same, so this goes to C tier. Do not waste your money on this one. So what's the better alternative for crush protection on the lower end? This will lead to my next mod, a heavy-duty bash plate. We all can agree the stock skid plate is very thin. It's fine for gravel road, but not much more. A heavy-duty bash plate is essential for serious off-road use. Some even protect the side of the engine. Yes, it will add weight, but it's a lower mount and shouldn't affecting performance that much. Personally, I'm not running them at this moment as I'm only doing minor off-road, but this is on my list of upgrade in the future. So this one goes to A tier. Handguard works the same as a bash plate, a must-have for heavy off-road use. Not so much for everything else. Surprisingly, the stock plastic ones are durable. I've dropped the bike a few times and they hold up fine. You really don't need to buy an expensive bugbuster. There are cheaper options online at less than half of the price, and they work the same. Handguard goes to A tier. Radiator guard is another useful mod you will need when serious off-roading. They are cheap and easy to install. If you are already buying a bash plate or handguard, just get this one too. But be careful to buy one with enough hole to let the air pass freely. 450 MT tend to run hot. This one goes to A tier. I found those heel guards online. They looks good but basically useless. Engine cover protects against the scratches, but with other protection in places, you probably don't need them. So both goes to C tier. Now for navigation, you basically got two choices only, either a dedicated motorcycle GPS unit like this one or the classic phone mount. Both have their pros and cons, which I covered in the previous video. At this very moment, I'm actually running both. I'm not using CFMOTO Moto Play at all. It takes too long to respond, and I've had issues sync the bike's Bluetooth with my car door. Also, the recent announcement for the monthly subscription is not making the Moto Play more usable either. For the navigation system overall, I will put them in A tier. And the last for the protection mod, the dashboard screen protector. So the TFT dash plate is exposed to rain, dust and scratches. A cheap little film like this one in keeping it clean and looks new. They are super affordable, so I give this one an A tier as well. Alright, now let's get into the performance mod, and this one is always interesting. First up, the exhaust. Whether it's a slip-on or full system, it will make the bike louder. Some people will argue that louder pipe will make it safer, while others say it's just more annoying on the highway. Personally, I preferred a quiet ride. 450 MT had a really pleasant stock exhaust note, and I like to keep it that way. That said, a full system will make the bike lighter and give it more power. Just don't forget to grab some earplugs. It's a big chunk of money, so I would prioritize other mods first. B tier for exhaust. Front sprocket swap. What I recommended is to keep the front sprocket at suit for your riding purpose. It comes stock with a 14-tooth front sprocket, which is great for off-road and low-speed riding, but it's rev too high on the highway. It will struggle and lead to very high RPM and vibration on a higher speed. You can go up to 15 tooths for better cruising comfort or drop to a 13 for better climbing performance. Personally, I do a lot of highway riding to get to trails, so I went with 15. I was more than happy to sacrifice some off-road ability to trade the highway comfort. However, since I changed to the 15-tooth front, I had red dirt, dust, hill climb, and it works perfectly. Changing the bracket is an A tier on my list. It's cheap to do and makes a big difference. Next up, an air filter upgrade. The 450 MT comes with a paper air filter. If you ride in a dusty area, upgrading to a foam filter or even just adding a pre-filter is a smart move. I've added a pre-filter and it works great so far. It's easy to clean and cheap to replace. My experience on the pre-filter is it seems to get dirty quicker due to the amount of air within for such small area, so they do need to be cleaned more regularly. This one goes to S tier. I've always preferred a short levers, so I installed this 2-finger clutch lever on the 450 MT, and it's much more comfortable. This makes gear shifts smoother and my other fingers ain't in the way. I haven't found a good short brake lever yet, but I do recommend it getting into the habit of riding with only 2 fingers on the brake. So B tier for this one. I've recently added a gear shift stabilizer. People say they worked, help with the downshifting, and add additional support to prevent damage. Personally, I didn't notice any change on gear shifting. As for the protection, the gear shifter shaft is quite strong, and I wouldn't worry about that too much. This goes to C tiers. And if you've done everything else and still want to squeeze more performance out of the bike, you can look into the ECU remapping. You will need to send your ECU to a tuner and they will adjust it based on your mod. Based on what I read on the post, it will smooth out the throttle response, adding horsepower and torque. But just be aware, this will void your factory warranty. B tier for ECU tuning.
Now let's move on to the appearance, and this one got me excited.
The CFMOTO 450MT isn't a bad looking bike, but there are a few things you can do to make it stand out and reflect your personality. Which bring me to my favorite mod, the fairing decals. Thanks for the popularity of this bike in the Chinese domestic market, there are tons of styles to choose from, and they are way cheaper than the decals for most other bikes. And more importantly, they actually have great quality. My one has lasted over 6,000 through the sun, rain, and the pressure washes without peeling or fading. It really makes the bike pop and adds their unique touch. I couldn't recommend it more. You just need to be ready to spend a little extra time when applying them properly. Definitely goes to S tier. Next up, a high fender conversion. It gives the bike a tough, more rugged look, and is practical too. It helps clear out the mud and the branches when riding off-road, but it also shakes a little bit in the high speed and leave the radiator more exposed to rocks. This is for serious off-roaders. B tiers for this one. A tail tidy kit. Truth to be told, I've stopped using tail tidy on my bike for a while now. I agree, they will clean up the rear end and make the bike look sleeker, but honestly, there are more downsides than upsides. The rear mud guard is there for a reason, to keep the mud from spraying all over your luggage and gears. Switching to a tail tidy means rewiring your brake light, number plate light, and indicators. And here in Australia, police are pretty strict about reflectors. If you miss one, that's a $400 fine. Personally, I don't think it's worth it. It's a C tier for me. Next, auxiliary light. These are super helpful in those moments when you unexpectedly find yourself riding in the dark, whether on a trail or out on a country road, when you really wish the stock headlight did a better job. I picked this particular side and installed them on my bike for the additional light and also improve the look. The downside, you do need to mess around with some wiring. It also adds a bit of weight and take up extra space on the bike. So my advice is only install them if you actually need them. This one goes to B tier. And finally, here is a bonus mod. Since I come back from my Outback trip, I've added this to my tool roll, a spare shift linkage rod. The story was, a buddy of mine dropped his 450MT in the soft sand. The lower crush bar bended and snapped off, and it took out the shift rod. He couldn't change gear until we found a place to weld the two pieces back together. If that happened to me on remote trail, I would be stranded. This rod is only $20 from AliExpress, and I carry it as a cheap insurance.
Alright, this is my full list of modification for my 450MT. Hope you find this video useful. What's your S tier mod for the 450MT? Or did you buy anything that turned out to be completely useless? Let us know in the comment.
You will also notice the tire choice isn't included. Well, it is a major upgrade that affects every part of the ride. It's a topic we'll never agree on or fully covered in one video, so I'll save that for another time.
I've added a link to most of the parts I mentioned in the video description. Feel free to check them out and grab whatever you need. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like my channel for more contents like this. And I'll see you on the next adventure.